Assalamu alaikum. And I wish that all of you had a really very blessed and happy Eid. Although it is a little late, but happy and Eid Mubarak, happy Eid and Eid Mubarak to all of you. I hope this coming year will be a better year for all of us. The unfortunate thing that as we are speaking, there are people who are really facing a very difficult really time in Florida and in the other Caribbean. Really, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower them with His mercy and kindness so that they can come through this challenging really time safely and without really any major problems. But this is life. Life is full of challenges, and this inshallah academic year we will focus on para 29 of Quran, Juz 29. And the reason I took the liberty and to choose this because around 4 years ago we basically discussed the last part of Quran, which is the 30th juz, and really if you look at the chronological revelation of Quran, you see that the most constructs, most surahs of juz, the 30th juz, really were revealed in the first part, if you like, of the Meccan period. And you can see also some of the surahs from Juz 29 were also revealed during that period. And so it makes it, I felt that it is important to revisit this initial period of revelation and refresh really our memories about how the vision was laid out through, because this is in the beginning, okay, it's very obvious, it should be obvious, and the vision has to be clarified where this message is heading, what are their objectives, what are the early messages on which the new, if you like, or the religion in its a new version is basically established. And that really makes it important really for us to look at the Meccan period in a different way, okay? In terms of time and the space, okay? And we always look at, okay, which surahs are revealed in Mecca, which surahs were revealed in Medina. Again, because these two places are not really the same, the challenges are not really the same, the dynamics were not really the same. So that would really give us this type of variation on how, okay, Quran tackles the issues, okay, that were particular in a way to the Meccan period and to Mecca itself as a place, and later on in Medina, okay. But really, what I meant by looking differently at the Meccan period, because historians tried really to based on the revelation of the different constructs during that period, they tried to divide the Meccan period into 3 periods, okay, or into 3 intervals, okay, interval 1, interval 2, interval 3, on the basis that in the first interval, and this is really very true, if you look at and we have looked, as I said 4 years ago, you can see the emphasis during the first interval in Mecca was really about the social issues that were prevalent at the time, and so Quran alerted the people, okay, alerted Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the people around him, okay, to the injustices, to the disparities, to the inconsistencies that were really prevalent in the society. Certain issues related, like how the certain groups in the society were disenfranchised, in particular women, like, okay, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ, how young girls were really buried alive, and the idea or the practice of infanticide, for example. Quran alluded to that. Okay, the disparities in terms of accumulation of wealth in the hands of a small group in the society, depriving others from their own opportunities. Okay, so taking advantage of really the weak, and also the issue of slavery. Okay, fakku raqaba. Encouraging the believers to start the process of emancipation. Okay, so these are the issues. Now, who would really be saying, "Oh, what are you doing?" If I am telling people to start giving, to be generous to others, to consider the weak, and their wealth, and like to help each other, who will be against that? So in the first interval, even the elite in Mecca basically did not do anything. They did not really even confront the Prophet, or at least there may be like, okay, some type of estrangement. Okay, who is this guy? What is he really? Not that they don't know him, but why he is really coming up with something after, like at the age of 40, started really talking to us about things never really mentioned before. Okay, so there is during that period. Okay, and it's up to you to believe if there were really a time when things were done secretly at the beginning, or I don't believe in that personally, because I think people thought that it was done secretly, but because the numbers were very small. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not go from day one and say, "Oh, people come, let me tell you what." No, he started with the closest people to him, at least to have a small group around him. Okay, believing in his new message. Okay, like his cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib, his close friend Abu Bakr, his own wife Khadija. People may have thought that, oh, it started at the beginning, and the message or the calling for the message started like in a secret, but probably it could have been done. In a private way, because the numbers were really small. People did not know about it, not because it was done on purpose to be in a secret way. You see what I mean? But the important part here is that there was no conflict at the beginning. You see, the type of issues that Muhammad ﷺ was directed to talk about through the revelation of Quran were issues that basically are very social, and most of the people will not be against it. Okay, people will not come to you and say, why you are talking about giving, or talking about thanksgiving, or talking about being nice to others. Nobody will be basically talking about these high values. People will not be really against you, even if they don't join. You see, they don't have to join, but at least they will not be in conflict with you. Towards the end of this interval, we see the revelation of Surah An-Najm, the star. Okay, not from para 29 or 30th, from I think 27. And in that particular surah, it was for the first time Quran mentioned the idols. before that, none of the surahs revealed before it, there was any mention about what these people are believing in, what is their type of religion and their basic beliefs. None of that was basically mentioned. Yes?
But isn't it the whole perception of this, the change that really was focused on for the Meccan time is only about what to believe in? It didn't even touch rich or poor or whatever. It was mostly talking about that.
Oh no, that is not the truth.
Not worship idols.
No.
There the whole
yeah, but you see, you see, if you when we discussed really the early chapters or constructs revealed, we're talking really about issues related really to social issues. Like, for example, as we said, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ فَكُّ رَقَبَةٍ, the idea of people جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ, okay, like the أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ. You see what I mean? So they are talking the accumulation of wealth, okay, and how it diverts you from higher values. So and definitely part of that, okay, to be accountable, to believe in the day of a judgment, that this life is not really when we die, it is not really the end, but it's really the beginning of a bigger life. I mean, definitely that was emphasized, and no one really had any issues at the beginning of something of that nature. Okay, if there are people who want to believe that there is another life, let it be. I mean, no, it's not affecting them. But when it really start touching, the verses start touching on issues that will affect the interest of the elite. Because what is the interest of the elite? Exploitation through really these rituals. I mean, like in Mecca, and making like an idol for each tribe. And you see what I mean? So, and they are the custodians. I mean, now, if you are coming and telling people that these are really nonsense, okay, and the whole, it's not really the matter. I mean, again, don't look at shirk in the simplest or simplistic way. Okay, somebody like making or prostration to an idol or asking an idol in supplication. It's more than that. It's really a whole system based on this. And Quran really alluded to that in more than one place, that it's really what is behind, okay, the separating among the people. You see, وَلَا تَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا. So they are really breathing, okay, feeding on the separating people into different, not only tribes, but okay, each one has its own idol, okay. So they cannot come together and start thinking about, okay, I mean, who is really benefiting from all these things? And what is happening to the rest of the people who are really remaining in their situation? I mean, poor and weak, and they don't have really a future. Let alone if their own freedom is under siege, okay, and in the form of slavery. Now you are taking or shaking the main pillars on which that system is based. Now they felt, okay, the danger. Okay, yes, we were listening to you, we were allowing you to go around and talking about these issues. Some believed, some did not believe, and some took you seriously, others did not. But now you are really like shaking the boat, okay, and affecting the system. They felt that they are losing their own grounds, as if like the rug has been taken from under their own feet. Okay, so that alerted them. Oh, there is like something serious here. And immediately after like Surah An-Najm, you can see قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ. So it's not, haphazardly revealed as sometimes it is really like portrayed to us. Okay? Who would think that قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ took all that time to be revealed? Just so many constructs were revealed before that. You see what you are following? You see that? So it's here comes really so in other words, to believe in Allah, okay, it's not just say that there is only one God and these idols are not important. No. I mean, you need to understand who is Allah. Allah is that generous. Allah is the creator. Allah is the one who has provided you with all these bounties. Allah who is really gave you in order to be entrusted with what you are given. He has given you a lot, many in the more in the capital M. أعطيناك الكوثر. In order to accumulate takathur. Although the two words have common linguistic root, but these are two diametrically opposite paradigms. And one of the things that I like you to help me to see as we are discussing these surahs, to see these contrasting paradigms. As we saw them, some of them in chapter 30, we are going to see and discover these paradigms. The paradigm of At-Takathur is not the same as the paradigm of Al-Kawthar. Al-Kawthar means a lot and Takathur means a lot. But one you have been given in order to help you to grow, and the other you have accumulating and you becoming under their own control. The first one, you are in control. You are using everything Allah is giving you, and you are given a lot, in abundance. إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ. We have given you in abundance. So you can really help yourself to grow. But the other one is diverting you from really the higher objectives of life. They are hindering your growth. The same way we saw it with the difference between zakkaha and dassaha. قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. Zakkaha, growth mindset. Dassaha, really it means to bury it. Bury your own self. What does it mean, burying yourself? Stop the journey. When our journey stops, when we die. Is that right? No, they are still alive, but they have buried themselves while they are alive. This is a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Contrasting paradigms. You see, again, at that level, nobody will say anything. Zakah, oh, very good. To increase in goodness, who will be against it? But to say increasing in goodness, okay, is different from that. What does it really mean to worship an idol that you made yourself? In other words, you are worshiping something that is less than you. You made it. Who is higher? If you created, are you going to pray and to worship something that is lower than you? You are bigger than that. You see where is it? But for the people, the elite, they felt the heat. So now you can get into the next interval. That interval was characterized by conflict. But still the conflict manifested itself as, let us talk about it. Okay? Let us listen. what you are talking about, what is this Quran that you are coming with? Oh, you are crazy. So it starts to manifest itself in the form of accusations. Okay, don't listen to this person. He is crazy. Majnoon. Okay?
Or Masood.
Or magician, mashoor. Okay? Or this Quran is sihr. Okay? It will really, they see the transformation. I see, oh, you see how this is the work of a magician. Okay? Or he is like all these, all the priests, kahana or something like that. Or a poet. The easiest, because poetry was prevalent. So he's not different from the others who come up with all these long poems and you are familiar with them. And this is another form. You see? And so it's in this form. But things started really worsening during the second. And Quran will come down and reflect what has been going on. This is why we always say that Quran is really the best mirror to reflect what is happening. If I want to understand Arabia at that time, even before Muhammad, because Quran will tell us how things were going. We don't have a better document. If a historian wants to know to learn about the history of Islam, where they go? Where they go? To the primary sources, is that right? What is the primary source that we have from that period? Is there something better than Quran? Yes.
So with that in mind, I think the primary source as it is Quran, and I am not sure how the Quran is now its status is preserved as it's mentioned. Why we are using reference to the sequence. The sequence, as far as I'm concerned, is what is showing as God preserved it. I don't know how we go back and say, no, this was revealed at that time, and this is before this. What is the evidence?
Oh, yeah. What is the evidence is it's really more of like the what makes and I said that more than one time, that really we don't have, we cannot say for sure that this was but to the best of our knowledge, and it is amenable to be changed based on our understanding, okay, of the concepts that were talked about and treated in these different surah.
But you don't have to worry about sequences.
No. I'm coming to that. So, and I am very cognizant of this, that the reason we are using this method because we are trying to answer a question. You see what I mean? So our question is, what were the early messages? Because the early messages help us to construct the vision or reconstruct the vision. Where that message is going. What does it want? Not only tactically but strategically. Yeah. In order to reconstruct that, I need that chronological sequence.
But using the same rationale of interrogating the Quran itself, we should not rely on anything but what's in as it is.
Yes.
In how it shows now.
Yeah. No question about it. And exactly. And the order, or the Quran put in its final order, okay, has also, it will answer for us also other questions. You see, so in terms of really the overall structure now of Quran is really the basis for a lot of research. And universities, including the United States, because they are really looking really at and one of the topics that we may be alluding to is the symmetry and the infinite symmetry that you see in Quran, where you can see the surahs were arranged in pairs, but like as mirror images to each other. You see what I mean? So in terms of their final order. Okay, so again, it depends what you are trying to answer, what type of question. So I don't think there is anything wrong with doing this, but we have to keep in mind.
Not to repeat, but if I'm coming to Dr. Walid's lecture,
Yes.
okay, I am listening to how you thought and synthesized a material. It's not the Quran, anything medical topic.
Yes.
So you, in your sentences, you said, I'm going to talk, say, executive summary, introduction, background, and so on. So this is your approach, and I see this is the Quran, how God have put it together for us. We cannot go back and reread it. It's symmetrical, but we cannot read it backward. We have to follow how it was revealed, and that's how God wanted us to follow. Otherwise, the sequence will be different.
Yeah, but you see,
So
but you see that.
the question has to be in the same.
You are right, but really the people who are really studying Quran and at this really time, they basically have noticed that how Quran was really a revolution, if you like, against the Greek, if you like, way of presenting things with introduction and in fact, Quran is not like that. Exactly. You can talk about an issue and you can find it in different places. Okay, so it is not linear. That is the issue, and that would really. This is why Quran is like when you are, if you look at it in a circular or spiral way, you can start at any point. And as we always say, like on a circle, you can start from any point on that circle. So this is why you can, in other words, that made Quran free of time and place. Now, for us, to answer that particular question, we are trying to see, okay, in terms of time and the space, how things happened. Okay, because really we can reconstruct the seerah itself from Quran rather than from other sources. You see what I mean? So it will also help in that really fashion. Now I'm getting to something else, but give me just so that people will not be really confused. But let us continue with this historical, the vision of the Meccan period. Okay, so in the as we said, in the second interval, it was really characterized by this conflict, but it's still conflict probably at the intellectual level, but it's started really to change into really physical persecution, injuring the believers, to the point that the situation become very difficult for many of them. At that point, Muhammad ﷺ gave them the permission to leave, and we are all familiar with their hijrah or immigration to Al-Habasha. Although Al-Habasha or Abyssinia, which today is Eritrea or Ethiopia, yeah. Mm-hmm. So the point is, now although Quran you do not find specifically mentioning about this, but there are allusions even before the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself migrated to Medina. Yarhamukumullah. But the point is and you can start to see in the revelation, the surahs that were revealed during that interval, the history, if you like, and the experiences of the people before Muhammad ﷺ, how they were themselves and their followers were really persecuted and were basically in a way harmed because they have a different belief than the people around them, okay, and how the elite in these communities really behave, which is not different from what Muhammad ﷺ is and his followers are facing in Mecca. So this type of revelation was important to assist or support the Prophet and the believers, that don't let these things, okay, make you think that you are wrong or you are weak, but this is expected, okay, and patience is very important in these situations. Even leaving and migrating, if it is really a way of decreasing that burden and a way to also face the oppression itself. And so the third interval, this thing increased more, and it culminated in the immigration of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, okay, and others really of his followers either did it before him or after him, which again, and you can see how the surahs revealed during each period coincided or reflected this dynamic, okay, and this really movement, if you like, okay, and what was really happening. And so the 11 surahs that we are going to discuss, okay, we are going to discuss them again to the best of our understanding and the knowledge that we have. I mean, it is not me, okay, but I'm going to the best really scholars who basically studied this particular, and they may not even be Muslims, so which makes it even more like objective, okay. And the two big really scholars from Europe, Donkey and Blacher, okay, who basically did very good job in really trying like to revisit, okay, these surahs and see what was the chronological really order, okay, because it helped them to understand, okay, or they reconstructed based on the topics and the events that these surahs were really alluding to, and now it is our job, okay. Probably if the historians divided that period into 3 intervals, probably we can divide it into 6. If we can really find, during that first interval, probably different things happened, and we can really. But my intention, we may be successful this time or in the future. Instead of really like looking at these intervals in terms of events, can we divide the Meccan or later on the Medina period based on ideas? You see what I mean? So like, okay, this is the period where this idea was tackled, and then this idea was tackled. And I don't know if that, but that will be helpful, because it can help you, it will help us all, okay? Now, if we are really want to put a curriculum, what are really the issues that we need really like, what are the messages? What are the ideas that we want to plant and nurture? Because really, if we do not look at our schools and our universities, it was interesting that in 1690, if you look at the dictionary in 1690, how they define university. In the dictionary, university is a nursery for education and civility. So in other words, for me it becomes a challenge. Are our really mosques, centers, schools, weekend school, full-time school, a nursery, a university, a nursery for education and civility? Or just like, okay, I taught them how to pray and let me go home. I taught them that there is really like something called zakat, or you see, and let me go home. In other words, we all want to learn something new. We all want to do something that we have not done before. But why we want to learn something new? Why we want to do something new? In order to grow, to be transformed. Okay? Is it enough to teach our kids how to pray? Or I want them, in addition to knowing how to pray, how the prayer will transform them. Teach them about the major things that are done during Al-Hajj, but not really letting them know what do they really mean. You see where I am heading? So, in other words, is it really just a transaction? Okay, do this, don't do that. And you see what I mean? And it's a checklist. Okay, you have done these things in order for your prayer to be right. That's fine. But let us move into the transformative objective of it.
Quick,
Yes.
two comments. One is, if you can attempt to make us, graduate above the rituals, okay, and go into the deeper meaning of the prayers, that would be great. Okay?
Yes.
That's one of the comments. The other question, totally unconnected. Amongst the non-Muslim historians from Europe, few were from Britain, and most were from outside Britain, like Germany, France, and all that. And I wonder why it is so, even though the British Empire had more influence on Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula, than the French or the Germans. Am I right? Historically, the Brits had, because of oil and all that, or even before that probably.
Yeah.
So how come? You mentioned two names and none of them are Brits. They're not from Britain.
No.
Right? So why is it so?
I think these are more of geopolitical, reasons really behind that. And honestly, I don't want to get into it, because it requires really someone who is really more into the history of that really period. We know it, but it's not like in the depth of a historian or somebody who is really focusing. But no question that there are really more geopolitical reasons, especially in view of because really their main interest was really the Ottoman Empire.
Right.
You see what I mean? So that was, so there's, how they have to make new alliances, but their objective was basically that was their main rival, and that. So, but really why Europe became interested? Because I think they reached a certain level of maturity. If you look at the earlier comments coming from Europe about Quran, like before the 16 or 1700, they really basically, just accusations.
Right.
Oh, Muhammad was an impostor.
Right.
And that's it. Nothing, no depth. Really the first, and I probably mentioned this in previous, 1734, and I always remember that because it's easy to remember 1734. George Sale was the first to translate to Quran into English, but it was really a very good translation. What does that really mean? Why 1734 was different from previous really years? Because really this is reflecting where Europe was intellectually. You are at the peak of the Renaissance, and so now they have matured. So they are not looking at what is happening in the world, okay, just like accusing. No. We need to understand, and in order to translate Quran, it's not really just knowing two languages, Arabic and English. If I want really like to translate Goethe, is it enough to know German and English to translate Goethe into English? No, it's not enough. Necessary, but not sufficient. I need to be a philosopher in his level to understand his concepts. So the same thing, Europe had to mature to become, to advance intellectually, so it will be able to understand the concepts of Quran and translate them. Otherwise, you will not be able to do it. That is why you see scholars coming from outside interested in the study of Quran. And some of them did it, with political agenda, but really some of them did it because they were interested in these new sciences, if you like, okay? And they wanted really to apply the same methods that you apply in biology and chemistry and you see what I mean? In other words, what is the evidence? You see what I mean? And this is very important. Because this is something that we need to plant in our kids. And how, you heard me saying this, learn and unlearn. Okay? How you are able to tell the kids to learn and unlearn, meaning that there are things that they have to ditch, even if they have inherited from their own parents. But how they are going to do them as adults, even if they are young, still young, but they are behaving like adults if they start thinking on their own. Are we creating, innovating new souls that are capable of thinking on their own? Or just telling them, do what I am telling you to do? وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ لَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا صُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا. What we call today critical thinking. If you start thinking critically, you say, this I will accept and this I will not accept. This I am going to learn, add it to my repertoire, and there is something that even if has been with me for years, I am ready to get rid of it. Why? Because I have evidence for this, I don't have evidence for that. Yes, I'm telling you from now that this may be a little bit scary, okay? But we need to transcend that fear. You see? And start believing in ourselves. Trusting ourselves, trusting our abilities that we are capable of doing this. Otherwise, things will stay as it is, and we are failing. How are we going to transcend that failure? And if you continue to do the same thing as it is. Yes, please.
I would like to add more along the same lines that I've started teaching. This is my second week in college, so I have 6 classes and working with 150 students. So first week of the teaching, that we foster the same philosophy that you have to unlearn what you learn in high school. You have to let go of all the philosophies, whatever you learn in high school regarding all the disciplines, you need to challenge yourself. So that is the basis of American education system. That time and again we foster this thought that you have to let go of things that you think.
Or be ready, like,
be ready and
don't be afraid.
I mean, you are out in the world.
Yes.
You need to use critical thinking in terms of understanding what is practical, what is doable, what is workable, and the high school teacher that you have been working for past 4 years, you need to let go of the things that you think are not productive.
Yes.
So I'm so impressed.
Yes.
That,
Even
connecting it to Islam.
Yeah, you are right. And along with that comes really the new tools, okay, that were not available to the previous really era, for example. You see, so each new structure of knowledge has its own also means and methods, okay, that were probably not at least that will allow you. Okay, I mean, do you think without a microscope I will be able to understand, for example, bacteria? You may speculate that there may be these little organisms, floating around, okay, but you are not able to make any difference. But once you have the tool, it changed a lot. So you see that with every new paradigm, you see that along with it comes its tools. And today, we need to use different tools as we are really digging into Quran. Yes, please.
Yeah. To the base point, as Dr. Ashraf said, as a student of Sira, and I only have to depend on Quran, this is the right way to go through Quran, first Meccan period, and even that explains a lot about this. Even you leave every source back there, and you go through Quran like Meccan period first and then Medina period. Every ayah or every surah will be talking itself how Muhammad ﷺ went through that time and that events, how he handled it. Back to the saying of Hazrat Asha that he was a walking Quran. So if you go through Quran as we are going to go, as you said, you think it will be very easy to understand what challenges he had and how he handled and tackled it. Without any outer resources, even Quran would explain enough to us. Like Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Aisha said the same way that he was walking Quran means that it would be much easier to understand the life of Prophet ﷺ if we go through this.
Yeah, but let me make another comment now. That doesn't really mean that the secondary sources are not important. But the way we are approaching them will be different. We'll approach them in the light of Quran, not the opposite. What has been going on, okay, they're trying to make Quran fit into these really riwayat and narrative, okay. No, I want to do the right thing, because Quran is the light. And in the light of Quran, I can understand and accept and reject based on Quran. If Quran is supporting an idea, yes, this secondary may give me a little bit details here and there. That's fine, as long as it is not contradicting the primary source, the reference. But you see, again, we are not against really all this human, struggle to understand things and they even these people who collected this information were recognizant of it. That they say, let us accumulate, okay, and put this information together and let the people decide, even after us, what they have to take out of it and what they will accept. You see, and the best among them is At-Tabari. He said, "Ala uhdat al-rawi." I am just the messenger. I am trying just like to bring you what has been said, including what I am saying. Okay, many times you see even in Tabari he referred to himself. This scholar said, the other scholar said, and he will bring his name. And this guy, I am saying also. I'm putting everything on the table.
That's why I love the Muhammad's translation. When he explains, he normally gives all those previous scholars, and then he says, "This is my opinion."
That's fine. Okay. I mean, again, as long as it is supported. Okay. This is why I'm saying and the evidence is not static. You see, I mean, I see the patient, for example, today. Tomorrow I have more information. It's not unusual to change my approach. You know that. Is that right? So, in other words, based on the evidence, I can really I make my decisions and put my plan. So, again, if you look at, and I think everybody has received the email, is that, so if you see like the first objective is basically like to help reconstruct the vision, but the second objective is really how to what are really the values that Quran wanted to plan. In other words, Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwa. Is that right? So Quran guides to the most balanced, to the most just, to the most measured. But how does Quran do it? What are the methods? And this is, you see, in the third objective. So we want to understand and explore the different methods. And we attach this article, that it can be a reference that will help us to remember, these different styles, and we are not going to be confined to them. There are other really styles, and even the writer said that there definitely are others, So this becomes our job to explore these different methods and the styles and how Quran really brought the message through. So we can learn from that methodology. You see what I mean? Rather than, Quran is saying this and this is what it means. No. How it's going really to, again, make the transformation. The first is really just a transaction. This is what it means, and all right, this is how. No. We want really like to benefit from this, because Quran full of ayat. Is that right? And ayat are signs. So in other words, as if you are looking at a map with all these signs. So it gives you the map road, how to reach. And we can identify these really milestones in the form of values and how Quran really help us to reach these values and realize them in our life. And as we always say, these values emanate from or protected, guaranteed by the beautiful names of Allah. Then we know who is Allah. What does it? Then it becomes helpful. I believe in Allah. Believing what? I believe in justice. I believe in generosity. I believe in kindness. I believe in knowledge. I believe in, because all these are His names and attributes. Make sense?
One
Yes.
more comment. The Quran, we believe that this is the message is universal and valid for all time to come. Right? So we need to understand in the context of the time and the society that we will live in.
Very good.
You know?
Yes.
In other words, we need to understand the true adaptation
Yes.
of the message from the Quran.
Very good. Yes, I'm happy, Brother Noor, that you mentioned this. And my really answer to that is that Quran talked about Sharia, which is the Quran itself. ثم جعلناك على شريعة من الأمر. You see? So Quran is the Sharia. Don't, make it different or as if it is something else or extract. No. Quran, ثم جعلناك على شريعة من الأمر فاتبعها. Quran also said, لكل جعلنا منكم شرعة ومنهاجا. So it's not enough to have the text itself that contains the Sharia or a Shara. Okay? But you need a methodology to understand it. And in order to understand the 21st century, I need to be aware of the structure of knowledge of this era. Then Quran will become meaningful in the time and the space I am living in. In other words, I don't want to understand Quran by the structure of knowledge. Sometimes people refer to something that even before Muhammad ﷺ. What is this? Sorry, nonsense. You are all familiar with Israeliyat. What is Israeliyat? When they were really, created after Muhammad? No, before Muhammad. In other words, you want me to understand Quran by the structure of knowledge that was prevalent in the days of Musa alayhi salam? Does it make sense to you? Not only that, Ibn Khaldun said these Israeliyat, they were basically invented in a Bedouin primitive environment, not even an urban environment. You see how bad it is? Okay. No, I need to understand, okay, the structure of knowledge of my time. Otherwise, I'll be living outside time. So we need both. I need the text and I need the structure of knowledge of today. In Arabic, we call it al-bina al-ma'rif. Each era has its own structure of knowledge. There is a more sophisticated word for that, epistemological paradigm. Every era, I have to understand it first. Or as I am reading Muhammad ﷺ, his application was really the interplay between what was revealed to him and what was happening in his time. Give you an example. I mentioned a little bit about those who are oppressed. One way is really to leave. Okay? يجد في الأرض مراغما كثيرا وسعا. Quran is saying if you are oppressed and you are not able to resist, you are too weak to resist, leave. Okay, today there are a lot of people facing oppression. I have to understand this. To go and ardullahi wasi'a. Alam takun, this is what Quran says. Alam takun ardullahi wasi'a fatuhajiru fiha. No question at that time.
But nobody opens the borders.
There are no borders. Really? Today I have to understand this in the context of the paradigm of today. Today there are borders, there are passports, there are really laws of immigration. If I don't understand them, how I can move? Not one person, groups of people. This is why what happened. How many people really drowned in the seas while they are emigrating? Because of the trafficking. These are really gangs. We're really trying to exploit the people.
Yeah.
This is what happens if I don't understand that structure. And no question, the blame is not only squared on these people, but also on us. Because we could not provide them with better ways of how they can really flee a place of injustice or oppression. You see what here comes, I mean, there's no magic. It's not changing. The verse is still the same. But I need to understand it in the context of my time. Otherwise, I will fail. And then I say, oh my God, you see, this is the ibtila of Rabb al-Alameen. And we go home and we are a bit, and we are fine because we are really, what is this argument? What is this argument? Is it going to help us? This is a very good segue. The first surah we are going to discuss from para 29 is Surah Al-Muddathir. So think about it, and then when we discuss it, because really there is another form of hijrah, okay, that Muhammad ﷺ was asked to do from day one. Okay? Inshallah, we'll yes, please.
Yeah. Like understanding any language, I'm not talking about Quranic language, you Arabs understand Arabic very well than me, Within my language, 20 years back, metaphors people were using in poetry. I have to explain to the young man, what does that mean? Because that situation is no more there.
Yes, you are right.
No girl goes.
You see the effect of time, of change, even the language itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
not the language, but the metaphors.
I mean, in English, the word condescend initially meant like somebody from the class of the elite talking to an ordinary person. Okay. Oh, so he condescend, like he was able like to go down. And today it means looking at people as less. You see, I mean, this is how it changed, and there are so many things that change really. So you are right that even language itself. So this is why we talk about not only meaning in language, but also the connotation. The language is the same, but the connotation, the meaning may be the same, but the connotation has changed. And this is what we really need sometimes to refer to. And I have examples from that, from Quran, but inshallah we'll describe them as in the right time.
That's probably what you mean, is that the language is literally meaning, has emotional meaning, has cultural meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Cultural meaning has been changed.
Right, exactly.
Also, like legal meaning.
Yes.
The fiqh, there is a meaning of the word sharia, it's not the water. So,
inshallah. Very good. Okay, thank you. So inshallah next week we'll start with Surah Al-Muddathir. Okay? Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.